Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So what we've got here, this could be a corrupt law official, okay, this could be an ex, it could be a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, okay, who's been betting, alright, they've been betting, they've been gambling that they can boot masculine or feminine down, probably with a group of people. Betting, gambling, they can wear masculine or feminine down, trying to shatter, exhaust masculine or feminine, then sacrifice masculine or feminine. So somebody is joined into a gang, a cult or a coven. They've been gambling and they've been betting that they can exhaust masculine or feminine, wear them down, okay, keep kicking masculine or feminine down. This could be, again, linking to an ex who masculine or feminine left a long time ago, and they have become very egotistical and they can't cope with the fact that masculine or feminine walked away, okay? So because masculine or feminine walked away, they joined into like some sort of a cult or a coven, okay? And rallied the troops to come against masculine or feminine, okay? We've got check yourself in reverse, putting on a good shirt, and we've got falling apart, falling to pieces. Then we've got fulfilling a fantasy. So they fantasise, we've got, don't want to hear it, about getting lippy, everyone getting lippy, everyone getting gobby. They don't want to hear masculine or feminine speak out about what they've been through in their relationship, okay? They want to probably play the victim. It could be something to do with some sort of stolen money where people have been cashing checks, okay? So some sort of money laundering, racketeering, embezzlement, okay? They didn't want their criminal enterprise to fall to pieces, so everybody was joining on in. Gambling with masculine or feminine. Get lippy, all that, you know. Maybe you're already knowing the tea. Running away. They want to get away. They want to get away with what they've been doing. Them and their side pieces, who they was getting a room with, alright, discussing, kicking masculine, feminine to the curb. So they even recruited some fake ass bitchy friends. Them and the side pieces, okay, secret haters, these friends are, who all teamed up with maybe an ex, okay, to kick masculine or feminine to the curb. They've been having sex together, alright, and they don't want masculine or feminine to be able to stand up and fight for themselves. Now some of these I'm getting could make out like they are struggling with depression, or what they've tried to cause with ex, quite possibly, and friends all grouping together, that they could just keep kicking masculine or feminine down, keep beating masculine or feminine down to the curb. They go out, they go party, they celebrate, okay, I bet I can get them to kick off about this, and I bet I can get them to kick off about this. Keep trying to wear masculine or feminine down, kick masculine or feminine down, sacrifice masculine or feminine, okay. We've got keeping a promise, and we've got Seven of Swords in reverse, and we've got emotional intelligence in reverse. They're all dumb, okay? They're all dumb. They're all dumb. Somebody, yeah, here we go. Somebody, they're all dumb. They've been cashing checks. They've been getting lippy. They didn't want this to be over. They just wanted to be like, right, so some strange reason, they've got hold of a large amount of money, okay? And they've recruited ex-friends, like these fake-ass bitch of a friends who was always jealous, always secret haters. And they've been doing like favours, they've been flirting, messaging backwards and forwards. Okay, so there must be some sort of a group chat where this has all been getting planned and premeditated. All the fours, they was like, I bet I can get masculine or feminine to kick off, okay, and boot masculine or feminine down, getting lippy here, getting lippy there. If we get masculine or feminine to kick off, we're going to set them up in some sort of a trap, okay, to get masculine or feminine locked up in prison, okay, for standing up for themselves with a large group of people, or get masculine or feminine put in a hospital under some sort of mental health or what have you. So they've been playing a lot of games. I bet I can get lippy, and then masculine or feminine, if they kick off, you know, we'll get a check from this ex or this corrupt law official and an ex. So they've been paying people to start arguments. They're all toxic, okay? SEX shop. They're all toxic, okay? It's been like a knocking shop with all of them, okay? It's been like a knocking shop of all these envious, promiscuous local bikes. It's been like a knocking shop. The side pieces, the side hers, they've all been helping. Now these could be men and women. So there's someone in this connection who's bisexual. They will get off with anybody. They will have like a encounter with anybody and then recruit them into like this hate group. So it's like a hate crime. They're very toxic. They sleep around a lot. Masculine or feminine could have left this ex because of some sort of cheating, alright? And they thought that they always had their feet under the table and masculine or feminine would never leave them. And it's dented their ego that they've left, so they've joined into some sort of trafficking. All going to boot masculine or feminine down, start an argument and go like, false reports, false investigation. So they can go, oh look, police, add a victim. A lot of bad choices, okay? And we've got keeping a secret, corrupt coppers involved, hush money. So they're in bed with corrupt law. They're in bed with corrupt law, this ex. Secret society, secret club, organisation and underground. So they got involved in it in a secret club. So masculine or feminine left probably a toxic relationship where there was cheating, and then they got involved in a secret society, okay? And they didn't like that masculine or feminine had the balls to leave. So they grouped up. They're all caught in a web of lies. They're all caught in a web of lies. So everybody, even these fake ass bitches of a friends, they've all been recruited into a secret society with corrupt law officials linking to sex trafficking, okay? All the women in this secret society, they're all hers. These fake friends, they're all hers. They thrive off drama and toxicity. There could have been some sort of stolen identity. Okay, so somebody in this connection linking to an ex is always trying to compete against masculine or feminine to be them. Okay, because they can't compare. A fake ass friend has been cheating with masculine or feminine, but with this getting played, masculine or feminine doesn't want to be lied to, doesn't want to be controlled, okay? Doesn't want this drama, but they thrive off that, okay? So they've all been in bed with one another. They've all been in bed. So people in local hometown, all in bed with one another. They like to get black magic done on you, play the victim. And we've got energy vamp trying to latch onto your energy. So what they're doing could be like some like sex cult. This community, this secret society have all been siphoning masculine or feminine's energy, okay? Doing all the, trying to kick masculine or feminine down, coming at masculine or feminine from all angles. We've got pure greed, mammon, wealth. So in this secret society, all they are doing is feeding mammon, alright? And they've all got real greedy because it's surrounding money. it's surrounding materialism and wealth, and the ex seems to have got hold of this money, what was not even theirs, with this secret society and these corrupt law officials, and they've been splitting the money amongst themselves, and I bet I can get them to kick off about this, and I bet I can get them to kick off about that. And so we've got dark energy worker passing away from spell work backfired. So even fake friends have been joining into this, and they want to get like some sort of farmland or acres of land, a plot of land, barn, rural area, forestry with stolen money. Oh, if you do this, and you do this, and you do this, and you do that, I'll give you this check. And if you do this, you do this, and you do that, I'll give you this check. So we've got families all joined forces, and now they're getting locked up in prison, okay? And there's been families of people siphoning off masculine or feminine's energy, okay? Bullying masculine and feminine from all angles. They've all been sleeping with each other, so God knows what STDs is getting spread around. Appeared to have masculine or feminine gang start, probably from Freemasons or Eastern Stars, with stolen money, okay, and tried to sacrifice masculine or feminine. Found a GUN, which was meant to KILL, masculine and feminine. Because they wanted to cover up, they don't want to let this money go, alright? They're very much enjoying doing what they're doing. We've got standing trial. So it's all going to go to trial. Relatives from out of town in a premeditated ending. So even relatives, this could be ex's relatives, okay, this could be masculine or feminine's relatives, this could be fake friends, their relatives, coming from out of town, they're involved in a premeditated ending. Tried to destroy you but came up against a full universe. So they probably thought masculine or feminine, you know, could be quite quiet, wanting to avoid drama and stuff like that, and surrounded by a lot of bums and gold diggers. So these friends, okay, these relatives, they're all a set of bums, a set of gold diggers, trying to drive masculine or feminine insane because they're insanely jealous. So they've got hold of some sort of money, been competing for some sort of money. They want to cover it up because they're splitting it amongst themselves. They're a set of bum-bums, they're a set of gold diggers, alright? Corrupt law, hanging out their asses. They wanted to participate because they wanted money for some sex workers. Someone tried to claim that they are with masculine or feminine to quite possibly marry them, alright? So then they can claim some of this wealth, and they can get involved in trying to bump masculine or feminine off 1313. There is again some sort of stolen identity, maybe even plagiarism, stolen identity. And someone in this group, this secret society, is trying to pose to be masculine or feminine, but they're not the original. We've got cold-hearted, cold-blooded killers, psychopaths, sociopaths. So everyone's surrounded by cold-blooded, cold-hearted killers and always recruiting new haters. Here's the target, okay? This is who we are. We all bet that we could end masculine or feminine by now, but no, we've got a life insurance policy they can't cash in on, exposed and scared. So I was all betting that they could end masculine or feminine by a certain time, take hold of this wealth, okay, and do a life insurance policy. We've got a churchgoer using spell work, and the devil is ready to collect. So a churchgoer is using spell work. They're obsessed with taking masculine or feminine's life and life, okay? So even a churchgoer, and they're involved in child abduction. Child abduction, grooming, blackmail, brainwashing, black magic, MK Ultra, and child. So then this ex wanted to snatch hold of children, okay? Got hold, like wanted to get fake friends, corrupt law to snatch hold of children and have them snatched into child trafficking. So children is surrounded by cold-hearted, cold-blooded killers, and they're all under investigation for major crimes, linking to a church, linking to corrupt law. They wanted masculine or feminine executed. They've done this before. So corrupt law has ended somebody, okay, in this like secret society before for the love of money that was never even theirs. So somebody in this connection has ended somebody before. Used ID overseas to open up account in your name exposed. So they've stolen identity. And then they've used masculine or feminine identity to put money in offshore overseas account, and then they've been paying people from out of town, okay, they've been paying people probably even abroad as well to do spell work, to do black magic, because there's a lot of black magic and blackmailing. So the children who's been abducted, or who they was planning to abduct or could have like taken hold of, they've had a lot of black magic done on them and they've been brainwashed. And friends, ex-friends, fake friends, family are all involved because they're very envious. Paid your friends to turn against you. So these friends was paid to turn against masculine or feminine because these friends are deranged and strange as fuck. So they never was friends. If they've got involved in trying to snatch masculine or feminine's children to help an ex, they've got the kidnapping and false imprisonment. So they kidnap masculine or feminine's children and then got masculine or feminine locked up. We've got abuse of power, false imprisonment. So they've been using corrupt law to keep filing some sort of false reports and false investigations to keep covering up what they're doing, okay? And they've all been pointing out masculine or feminine, said they're the problem. Look, we'll just come for them. Smiling, you're there the problem, okay? Six of Cups in reverse, very childish, and they've got power of attorney in a corrupt way. Again, what they've done is very toxic. Very toxic. They've got power of attorney in a corrupt way. They're all dumb. Everybody was just wanting a come up, alright? They just wanted to get to the top. We've got 10 of Pentacles in reverse. They just wanted to get to the top. They just all wanted some sort of financial stability. So they organised and have all been working to gang stalk masculine or feminine. 3 of Wands in reverse, they don't want no one to look into what they're doing. So they've all been working together, okay, to gang stalk masculine or feminine, more corruption, more injustice, okay, and with this attorney, they're just as childish. They were smiling. Of course, I'd like to get involved and make this masculine or feminine a further victim. Yeah, I'll do out for someone in the table as long as I have money to spend on sex workers. So with this judgment and then with the devil card, a lot of people who work within local authority, police, lawyers, solicitors, attorney, they're all toxic. They're all toxic, okay? They're all very, very toxic. So it's all been orchestrated. They're all very toxic, yeah, look, all been orchestrated with an ex and some sort of like lawyer or solicitor who thinks that they should avoid judgment, okay, for trying to end masculine or feminine and smiling about it. 9 of Wands playing games. 8 of Wands in reverse, like whipping up a storm and saying, they're the problem here, not all these who's collaborating together to try and bump masculine or feminine off and quite possibly child or children, sex traffic, okay, take hold of money what was never even theirs, and none of them are the problem. It's only the victim who's been victimised countless times, who's the actual problem. So they've been mean online too. So this is online bullying. 5 of Cups, because they don't want to lose, and they want to see masculine or feminine lose happiness, okay, with this depression. They was jealous of masculine or feminine, even these friends, jealous of masculine or feminine being happy with like child or children and having like a good life. And with this King of Wands in reverse, they just went ruthless. So this is like a police force, okay, who are like warlocks, who like to bring chaos. Ruthless police force. Happy that didn't want masculine or feminine to be happy. Hated masculine or feminine being happy. Didn't want masculine or feminine to come into some sort of money. So they all joined forces. I don't know. So because they took some sort of money with this misfortune in reverse, by causing upheaval, they don't want to lose what they've stolen. They've tried to be really discreet, and they're trying to avoid, with this settlement in reverse, they're trying to avoid like a settlement, they're trying to avoid legal proceedings. They don't want it to go to trial, so they're all in recuperation, alright? So in recuperation, they're trying to change, and they're travelling around trying to change things, okay? That could be travelling around the world, different countries, okay? And changing legal documentation, trying to change masculine or feminine's full entire destiny out of jealousy, out of spite, because they're very toxic and they're all set of bum-bums. Every single one in this connection is struggling with Mammon and sex demons. There's going to be a settlement, okay? They're going to get arrested out of work, public humiliation, corrupt law, sentenced to life in prison without parole. They've been twisting absolutely everything. Hidden court proceedings you know nothing about. Arrests have been made. So even corrupt officials, they've been twisting everything. Family, okay, relatives from out of town, they've been twisting everything. False reports, false investigation. They've been twisting absolutely everything. They're thinking masculine or feminine is talking too much. This is what they don't want. They don't want masculine or feminine to be able to heal or speak out. They just wanted to fulfill its fantasy, take hold of some sort of money, take hold of children, and wanted masculine or feminine to be like depressed, and we got ruined their own lives trying to ruin yours. Prison time. HIT man arrested and grasping for a lesser sentence. Oh my lord. Linked to Freemasons, Eastern Stars, who's also going to get sentenced because they've been crying wolf. Always playing a victim after making you a victim countless times. So after making masculine or feminine a victim countless times, they're always playing a victim. Always playing a victim. Always. Add a victim, add a victim, add a victim. Get lippy, you bully him here, you bully him there, you do this spell work, you do that spell work, you do that ritual, you do gang stalking, okay, you do this, and if masculine or feminine gets mad at us, we'll file a false report either to local authorities or ambulance services and launch false investigations. So they spent a lot of money investigating false reports, what they know is a false report. So then a lot of money has just been wasted. They think you know too much. Scared of their own karma and living in fear. So their magic isn't working anymore, furious and in panic, backfired. Then we've got evil since a child, emotional, mental, quite possibly S abuse. So masculine or feminine has been surrounded by such evil since a child. Somebody's going to get caught red-handed. And we've got manslaughter, linking to human trafficking, social services and a satanic pedo ring. So exes, like family members, ex-friends, to come up against, because they hated masculine or feminine's level of success, and they didn't want masculine or feminine to have their own wealth. They all recruited with an ex and other relatives, these friends, to get involved bullying and rallying masculine or feminine up, filing false reports, false investigations, probably social services, snatching the children, trying to sacrifice, okay, stealing money because they're jealous. Why would any friend want to get involved in snatching their own so-called friends' children from them and have them slap banged into a satanic paedophile ring? And this is why they're going to Monster Mansion. They got involved in kidnapping these so-called friends, and then false imprisonment of masculine or feminine, wrongfully arresting, filing false reports, abuse of power, cracks in these false reports too. Why would a friend do that? All for the love of money that was never even theirs in the first place. I'm seeing just like a real ugly type of like demon with like just like, because they're very demonic, like holes for a nose, like not even like a proper nose, just holes for a nose. It's like a scary looking demon. So they're all demonically possessed, okay? Very, very demonic. They was travelling around making deals, and we've got leadership in reverse. Then we've got respite. So what they've been doing is revolting. They didn't want to see masculine or feminine get into some sort of leadership position. They didn't want to see that. They didn't want to see masculine or feminine have their own wealth. They didn't want to see masculine or feminine have their child or children have their life together. They just wanted to create carnage and wreck and ruin masculine or feminine out of jealousy, out of spite. Business under investigation. So this is probably police officers, law firm. All under investigation. Multiple families are under investigation. It's just shocking. We've got partnership and danger in reverse. So who they are partnered with, they brought danger to masculine or feminine children who they love, out of jealousy, out of spite, out of envy, and they all think it's they thought it was funny that they all chose to serve darkness, and they didn't want to see masculine or feminine go through any transformation by having their own money, because they got really greedy, these set of bums and gold diggers, and wanted to split it amongst themselves. It's just absolutely disgusting. And then tried to do an insurance policy, scared of their own karma, living in fear. Because this is where they're going to be going, like a monster mansion, prison. So they're going to be locked in prison. They're going to be going to prison for life. Evidence is being gathered behind the scenes. Somebody in this connection has already bumped someone off before, okay? We've got seduction, spirit of nature. So because they're linking to like a churchgoer, okay, they're doing like necromancy, okay, graveyard magic. They're doing graveyard magic. We've got renewal. And we've got illusions in reverse. They want to renew some sort of a contract with the DEVIL. So maybe a contract, I nearly dropped that. Maybe a contract with the devil, because they collaborated with the devil to make masculine or feminine a further victim. Maybe a contract with the devil has or been voided or been null because they've got a life insurance policy they can't cash in on, scared and exposed. Maybe they want to try and renew this contract with the devil, okay, or renew this life insurance policy. Either renewing the contract with the devil or trying to renew this life insurance policy. And they've just been weaving a web of lies. Somebody could be getting booted out of this secret society, okay, because it could have caused a lot of attention. Bringing a lot of attention. Yeah, they thought there was the 1% club, but there's 75% of people who are money, power hungry, okay? There's 75% of people who's jealous, envious, bitter bitches, and very toxic, okay? There's God knows how many corrupt law officials in the world, okay? There's a lot of dumb people around too. And there's a lot of people stealing other people's identity. So there's not 1% of them, alright? Obviously the head is just gone. So they're getting life in prison for sinister crimes. So they're all getting locked up for all these premeditated endings. They're getting life in prison. Whole town worked against masculine or feminine because of this money. Pure lunatics. So a full town involved, okay, and all getting locked up. They're about to be busted and raided. Full town's getting locked up. Their children will be put up for adoption for what they did. So all the children are going up for adoption. Thanks to this ex-wife, ex-husband, ex-girlfriend and ex-boyfriend who they all joined forces with. Now they're all getting locked up. They really thought it was funny. They really did. So we've got ritualistic abuse, cult ties, coven ties, dark witches and dark warlocks. This town is full of dark witches, dark warlocks, where they've all been joining together to do ceremonial magic, witchcraft and rituals. And they all joined forces, whole town, wanted to take everything you had to punish you for no good reason. So everybody got involved and wanted to punish masculine or feminine for no good reason at all. It was all for the love of money. And this ex of a family members, they tricked everybody into their own demise to take the fall with them. So they recruited a lot of people and they tricked a lot of people into their own demise. Tricked a lot of people. So we got, with these false reports, probably wanted masculine or feminine to receive some sort of psychiatric treatment, okay? Whilst they're doing all this, they're the problem, they are 3322. So recruiting ambulance services, medical staff, NHS for example, because they're involved in stuff like this, like your NHS. All the freezer, money under the table to conceal evidence and wrongful medication and standing over your patients and watching them dying, aren't you, NHS, darling? Yeah? Yeah? Oh, so much more to that, but we won't go into that just now. So we've got counterfeit drugs, fake or falsified medicines containing harmful ingredients. And this is what the hospital staff, like the NHS, have been doing, because they've done this to me on multiple occasions, okay, which they are all going down for that as well. They are all going down for that as well, because they're all under judgment. Star card in reverse, because they don't want to see masculine or feminine healed. Okay. They want to take this shine for themselves. Repulsive, okay. Again, what they've done is heartbreaking, all for the love of money that was never even theirs in the first place. So, pure lunatics from local authorities like police, lawyers, judges, solicitors, pure lunatics from this church, a pure lunatic ex and family members like relatives from out of town, pure lunatic friends, okay, who's done everything they can to break masculine or feminine's heart, take the children, take hold of money, have a good laugh and celebrate, finding false reports coming from all angles, and they're under judgment. They are. And they're all going to prison. So they're under judgment, okay? Everybody who was battling, they wanted to team up with the beast. They're under judgment. They would literally team up with anybody to try and come up against masculine or feminine. They would team up with anybody. Let me tell you that. We've got inheritance fraud theft, fraud act, forged documents to gain control. This is what they've done. And all these corrupt officials are getting fired for cover-ups because somebody who works at the bank is investigating this embezzlement, this racketeering, this money laundering, okay? And they're all going to get fired for cover-ups. Even Billy Big Bollocks, who was well passionate about getting involved, they're getting fired for cover-up. Yeah, they got involved because they wanted to come out of poverty. Six of Swords in reverse, they didn't want to see masculine or feminine move forward, okay? And they loved the thought of passing judgment on masculine or feminine, saying, no, you're not entitled to have your own money because we've got corrupt officials here, all right? We've got police here, lawyers here, judges here, solicitors here, friends, family, everybody in the whole town grouping up 10 million billion reasons as to why masculine or feminine shouldn't have their own money. That's the truth. 10 million billion reasons as to why masculine or feminine shouldn't have their own money, yeah? And gang stop masculine or feminine. Seven of Wands of fabricate medical records, legal documentation to take prosperity that was never even theirs. Because they all wanted some gifts, alright? They all wanted some gifts, shopping sprees, okay? Cars, money to pay off bills, okay? Decorating their homes, getting the favourite lippy, so they can carry on getting lippy, alright? And well, it's ended up with all of them getting locked up in the end for embezzlement and grand larceny. And attempted endings, okay, abuse of power, perjury, false reports, obviously that is a crime on its own, and they're all going down. Maybe they wanted to spend this money on drugs trafficking, more corruption. And I thought, oh, it's alright, masculine or feminine, they're on their own a lot. Easy target. Eight of Swords, we'll get them locked up with these false reports, false investigation, and we'll just keep bullying them and gang stalking them. Even though we know they're innocent, okay, and they don't deserve that, it's because they're on their own, and we think it's easy target, so they're all mapped out. And someone in this connection has just been pissing this money up the wall, draining masculine or feminine of their energy, okay, and all of their inheritance, and then just been pissing it up the wall. It's in round town, proper thinking great with these fussy boy dance moves, proper thinking like they're a star on the bloody dance floor with the fussy boy dance moves, alright? And anyone, we've got somebody, we've got block, bank account getting put on block or something, alright? Gone into a bank, deposited some sort of check, alright? Deposited a check. So they was trying to block this from coming out because they obviously don't want to go down. And all these enemies joined forces to bring stress, to make masculine or feminine have some sort of a mental breakdown, okay? And while they was all partying and celebrating, being pure lunatics. So there's just a set of pure lunatics involved who are all dumb, who thrive off drama and toxicity, okay? Yeah, they do, look. And they proper got in the fields, alright? We've got burning evidence, we've got breaking contract. So even these corrupt coppers got involved in a contract ending because they wanted to destroy masculine or feminine. And that's why they're under investigation, because even corrupt coppers are involved in putting HIT out on masculine or feminine. Quite possibly because somebody in this corrupt police force either knows masculine or feminine from school days, alright, linking to like an ex or family members, or somebody in this connection like an ex-friend from back in the day. They were smashing a copper. They were smashing a copper, alright, they're grasping on each other to get a lesser sentence, and all attacking each other, blackmailing each other, grassing for a lesser sentence. So they really thought they was going to get away with it, you see. There's a female figure linking to X, okay, who wanted to be seen as a matriarch, a woman who is head of the family. So all of a sudden, X and maybe mother got hold of some money, or thought to get hold of some money, and instantly thought that she was mafia in a bloody head. He instantly thought that there was a bloody mafia in the head because they got hold of the money, okay? They got hold of the children, and they spent money on DRUGS, paying for SEX workers, snatching the children and putting them in a satanic pedo ring, and then they thought there was the bloody mafia. But what I'm thinking is like, I just don't think anybody who I'd see as a part of a mafia would be doing that to the kids. That's what I'd think. You know, there's plenty of people out there who probably claim to be the mafia who do this to kids, but I wouldn't put that down as a mafia. I'd put that down as a low-rank crank, okay? I would put that down as a low-rank crank. And with this ex and these fake friends and relatives, coming against you is the only thing that motivates them. It's the only thing what motivates them. So this is the only thing what gets them up in the morning. These little street rats, these bums, these corrupt law officials. It's the only thing that they wake up for in the morning. That's cyber stalking and hacking. So first thing they do is hack masculine or feminine social media first thing in the morning, or stalk masculine or feminine social media first thing in the morning. And they all want to see masculine or feminine in pain and grief for fun. Even these so-called friends will get involved. We're sick of seeing masculine or feminine happy. We don't want masculine or feminine to keep being happy with the kids, and we definitely don't want to see masculine or feminine get their own money, okay? So we'll take everything, and it's just absolutely disgusting. Detective is on the case, bringing justice, and a whistleblower is exposing it all. It's just disgusting how friends and family and exes can all do that. We've got a lawsuit. And then on top of that, they've been trying to do S-degrading rituals and humiliation rituals for clout from others. These fake friends, these corrupt officials, lawyers, judges, solicitors, attorneys, this secret society who like to do S-degrading rituals with an X. So we've got suing the government and justice. And they have so many victims who they have abused for years and years. So many. Corrupted courthouse, busted. So in this courthouse, alright, all these judges in this courthouse, they're all Freemasons. Eastern Stars signed a contract in BLOOD with the devil to come against you. So this is where this renewal comes from. I'm sure I left it out. Renewal, yeah. So this contract's come to an end and they want to renew that. So all I'm saying, if contracts come to an end and they want to renew this life insurance policy and this contract with the DEVIL, which is now void and null, be careful, because all they have to do is be like, oh, let's book you in for some sort of mental health checks, like via the NHS, because the NHS are well and truly involved in stuff like this, let me tell you that, in evil acts and evil deeds. All they'll have to do is say, we need you to come on in for some checks. This is why they're all going to Monster Mansion. We need you to come on in for some health checks, and all we need is some blood samples and test your blood and see if everything's alright. Then they'll use that blood to do contracts with the devil. And this is how the NHS is working as well. But again, it is like a worldwide reading. It is a collective reading, but that's just for example, because the NHS have been involved in trying to poison me off, okay? God knows how many times, stood over me, watching me dying, giving me a capsule filled with somebody else's blood and 3 see-through bugs with 3 legs at each side, which I spewed in the sink, alright? They are all involved in like a robbery and stealing from patients and covering up attempted murders. They don't want anyone to know the tea because they don't want to go into investigation, but it's unlucky. It's unlucky. It's unlucky. And it is linking to SEX trafficking. It is linking to SEX trafficking. And I did see destroyed and DRUGS. And then we've got raids, okay? We've got raids going down. And they wanted to destroy masculine or feminine. Maybe they could have said, maybe with the POISON in, they could have said in corrupt law, in corrupt courthouse, said that masculine or feminine is just sprung out off their tits on DRUGS all the time, but masculine or feminine's been getting poisoned, okay, so they can copy signature and sign everything over to them. This is how toxic and envious they are, because it was all meeting on up and discussing. And these counterfeit drugs, fake or falsified medicines containing harmful ingredients. Yet they took hold of a large amount of money and spent that on drug trafficking, and now they're all getting busted, they're all getting raided. So they are absolute lunatics. Absolute lunatics. Wanted to spend it on SEX workers. They just wanted men and women hanging off their arm, these corrupt laws. Of course they would get involved in trying to kick masculine or feminine to the curb. Because they got in their fears. I thought, oh look, I can get all these SEX workers and everyone is going to be, you know, so of course I'm going to project all that hate and anger and rage and narcissistic reactive abuse. And of course I'm going to get mad and angry and drag masculine or feminine all around prison with these false reports. And just beezing past in their police car, projecting hate and anger at masculine or feminine. Like they've been doing this to me too. They've been doing this to me too for years, absolute years. Throwing dark energy at me, projecting a load of hate and anger because they're a failure of a police force. An absolute failure of a police force. Just drive past, either throwing dark energy back, dark magic, okay, and projecting hate and anger, and now they want to go on the run. And the law's going to be changed because of what they've been doing. The law's going to be changed. Just because they're a lawyer, judge, solicitor, attorney, okay, just because they work within the hospital, alright, just because they have a couple of powers here, a couple of powers there, doesn't mean to say that they should be getting away with these heinous crimes. Detective on the case, bank fraud, RICO, under investigation for years. We've got embezzlement, money laundering, racketeering, and it's caused a lot of drama. It's brought so much carnage to a lot of people's lives to help this this family. It's going to be a high profile case. And all enemies was joining forces to get masculine or feminine locked up. To cover up what they was doing, they've all been revealed for being spiteful haters and venomous snakes. There's no honour amongst thieves. So they all joined forces, friends, family from out of town, okay, exes. False reporting to try and get children snatched while they're doing all this, okay. And then trying to get masculine or feminine locked up, alright. And it's been going on for a long time because they wanted to cover up. Then they wanted masculine or feminine to be executed in the street, home or garden to cover up. Disgusting. An auntie is involved in this inheritance fraud act. And they're going to get fired for cover up. They're going to try and plead insanity. Well, yeah, they are. Insanely jealous. This auntie is insanely jealous. Trying to set masculine or feminine up for unfounded crimes. So all teaming up together, obviously with this false report, a lot of them saying, they're being seen here, they're being seen there, everyone's been having a go. Let me tell you that. Everyone's been having a go. Everyone has. They've been seen here. A lot of these people are either on mental health tablets or they need their mental health re-evaluating and they need to get on their medication. Yeah, these fake friends. They need to get on the bloody medication. Honestly. They're the ones who need to be on mental health tablets, let me tell you that. They need to be on mental health tablets, let me tell you that. And they don't even want to apologise for what they've done. Because they're dumb. Because they're dumb. Because they're dumb. They think they're above the law. They probably want to call themselves bloody outlaws. They think they're above the law. They think that this they're just going to keep getting like some sort of secret society protection for stealing masculine or feminine's wealth and splitting it amongst themselves. But again, there's cracks in these false reports and good law officials can see they're possessed by legions of demons and they are examining these forged legal documents and changing these medical records They have been twisting absolutely everything because they're all snakes. They just all turned into these long snake spirits. There's been loads of them. What's been roaming round Hull, you know, linking to exes of mine as well, and ex-friends. It's just been a massive, long, big, fat black snake spirit, and it's just not nice to see people turn into that. It's not. So how can they get away with all these false reports and bearing false witness and falsifying legal documentation and causing so much chaos just to have money transferred into their account? With this attorney linking to children from past, they were smiling and said we wouldn't even leave a scrap of evidence, and they wanted masculine or feminine, like begging for scraps. They just wanted to see masculine or feminine not have their own wealth and begging for scraps. That is just evil. It's just evil. Why should, if somebody's supposed to be having a load of wealth, either from the fruits of their labour or what, why should they be having to beg for any scraps? While they're all living a life of luxury from robbery and theft. So they've all been happily watching masculine or feminine online. Been happy about what they've been doing. Somebody got like keys to a new property, bought a house or a home. So they're acting all happy online, like look at me. Could be selling a house or a home online. Could be selling a house or a home online. Could be buying a house or a home online. Them and their partner's going to be going down as well. So someone in this connection has been buying or selling houses, homes, online, being real blasé, social media, okay? While they've been trying to follow masculine or feminine in cars, watching online, okay, some sort of, what's it called, GPS tracker, and following maybe a dark high priestess hunting masculine or feminine down in a car to gang stalk masculine or feminine with corrupt law official who's been betting to take masculine or feminine out or down because there's unrequited love for this dysfunctional family, like an ex and what have you, who's very corrupt, with a corrupt judge. Or just jealous of seeing masculine or feminine happy and just didn't want the child or children to be happy. Masculine or feminine who they took the money from, they didn't want masculine or feminine to have their own money, so they all made deals, probably messaging online, okay, to meet on up, okay, and discussing whipping everything away, creating a broken home and putting child or children in a pedo ring, and made deals, low vibrational deals to try and sacrifice masculine or feminine so nobody could piece this puzzle together. Two of Swords and Reverse, we're seeing through that. Again, bank account, under investigation, online banking. And they're miserable. These friends, again, they thought they had it all mapped out. They had it all mapped out. They all collaborated with an ex and now they're all miserable. Some of these people who are going to get found guilty, who wanted to collaborate just because they wanted to eat well, the ones, Eight of Pentacles and Reverse, who's going to be losing the job, Some of them could be getting put in a glass box. Because I think I do that with them really bad criminals, you know, who want to harm children, or keep trying to bump others off because they're psychos. Some of them get put in a glass box. Okay, so some of these people who's going to get found guilty, they're going to get put in glass boxes. Ugh. So some of these people who's going to get found guilty, they're going to be getting put in glass boxes. The ones who is making deals, seeing through these illusions, going to be getting put in a glass box. For trying to end masculine or feminine multiple times with a shit mother figure, a shit judge, a shit mother figure, a shit judge. Evidence getting found, alright, of what they wanted to do and how they wanted to keep causing stress and playing these games just because they wanted to eat well. I wanted to trot around thinking that they should have this masculine or feminine like identity and go shopping. Oh my lord. They're going to be getting put in a glass box. They're going to be getting put in a glass box. At least the streets will be safer there. At least the streets will be safer. The community mocked you for speaking the truth. So could have tried to ask for help, could have posted on social media, and everybody was getting involved in just playing nutty bar games, but it's all going to trial. Linking to Freemasons or Eastern Stars. Paying people to abuse masculine or feminine with stolen money and stock and then report back to them. Glass boxes. Some of them even came from out of town to start masculine or feminine. Ugh. Yeah, so somebody is going to be in, some people in this group, it's a high profile case, they're going to be in glass box and hidden life insurance policy inside of their home, alright, and whilst they're trying to bump masculine or feminine off and quite possibly child or children, they've been crying wolf, filing false reports to mental health services and the police to cover the tracks because they didn't want their cover to blow. So while fake friends are like putting HITs out, passing guns around, okay, they're filing false reports to mental health services to cover their backs and tracks. Yeah, they was making deals with that. They're like a dark high priestess or something like a coward. Making deals, coward, because they didn't want to get found guilty for an attempted ending. So even fake friends are going to end up in a glass box. Fake friends going to end up in a glass box who got involved in this. Wow. And they've lost all divine protection. That's why they're all going down. They've lost all divine protection. Making deals with the devil. Because they wanted masculine or feminine success for themselves. This wealth, this no way. No way. I want masculine or feminine success and wealth for myself. Let me make a deal with the devil, and they have. They've been doing it for prosperity. It was never even theirs, trying to make deals with the devil. Oh my Lord, it's just ridiculous, it really is. How these corrupt coppers and like corrupt government and stuff will help fuel this mental retardation. Could also be a Capricorn getting found guilty and a Scorpio. Somebody going in a glass box. But again, at least the streets will be safer.